Welcome to the Kyle Olson Show. I'm so glad you're with me today. We have a great show ahead. Back in June, white celebrities who wanted to appear woke temporarily gave their social media platforms to black women in a campaign they called Share the Mic. Well, I thought this was largely patronizing, especially since it was gone as quickly as it came. I thought, that's an interesting idea. There's so much negative news out there as the left constantly plays the victim and positions America as the oppressor and is literally trying to burn our country, our history, and our ideals down to the ground. Maybe we should feature some uplifting messages. Here are some black Americans all those woke white leftists probably wouldn't share the mic with. We at the Kyle Olson Show wanted to amplify these incredible voices. Because you know what, patronizing woke white liberals, you don't need to share the mic. Anyone with a cell phone, a social media account, can be seen and heard by anyone. That is, of course, unless Google, Facebook, and Twitter censor you. But we'll get to that later. Earlier this month, Kathydson spoke to the Wichita Falls, Texas City Council during a debate over a Confederate monument in the city. Here's a portion of what she said.
So, speaking as a black person living in the city, I can honestly tell you the black folks in Wichita Falls don't care one way or another about that monument. That's the reason they're not here. They don't care. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. In 1980, I found myself living in the Ben Donnell projects on Lincoln Street. A single mother on welfare, having to decide what to do about feeding myself and my son. I couldn't do both at the same time. I had to get on food stamps. But I worked and got better at my job. One of the proudest moments was when I walked into the welfare office and told them, I don't need these food stamps anymore. I can feed myself and my son. Fast forward 38 years. I have retired from another job. I own 17 homes right here in Wichita Falls. Drive part-time for Halcon and run a bed and breakfast. I have made a success out of my life through hard work and perseverance. I want you to know that my success came in and happened in spite of that rock sitting in the front yard of Memorial Auditorium. That monument is just a rock. It's not good. It's not bad. It don't have the ability to be a racist. And it don't have control over anybody. It's just a rock. The issue of removing the statue is a distraction. It's an excuse to dismantle this city. If it comes down, there will be something else and something else and something else and something else to please these terrorist young folks. If Black Lives Matter, then instead of focusing on this rock, let's focus on the black men sitting on the curb in front of Faith Mission every day. Let's make them more self-sufficient. If Black Lives Matter, then you would help black people in the area of their need, like paying the rent, keeping food on the table, paying the electric bill in this 100-degree heat. That would be more beneficial. These white folks, outsiders, yelling and making their remarks in the street that Black Lives Matter, but you ain't doing nothing about it but opening your mouth and running your mouth. That's all they doing. That's all those outsiders is doing. Your white BLM members is tearing down the city or wants to tear down the city for their own political agenda. And you got your little black sheeps tagging along behind you. Bad, bad black sheep, have you any wool? Do you have what it takes to ask the question as to why are you following behind these folks trying to bring division and tear down Wichita Falls? These are college-educated people protesting that monument. Can they spend their time instead teaching financial literacy to black people and other minorities? Okay, it makes me mad for a movement to use black people as an excuse for their own political agenda to tear up and tear down. Wherever Black Lives Matter goes, they leave a trail of destruction. Let me say this before I run out of time. I come from welfare to fair and well with that monument in place. Actually, from welfare to millionaire. And never once thought that monument was holding me back.
What a compelling American success story. Here is Clay County, Florida Sheriff Darrell Daniels at the end of June when the Republican National Convention was still scheduled to occur in Jacksonville.
Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in this country. Lawlessness, that's unacceptable in Clay County. And if you threaten to come to Clay County and think that for 1 second that we'll bend our backs for you, you're sadly mistaken. I know what happens when lawlessness prevails. And in this day and time, God is raising up men and women, just like the folks you see standing behind me, who will have strong backbones and will stand in the gap between lawlessness and the good citizenry that we're sworn to protect and serve. So you can threat all you want. You can say, hey, let's go to Clay County, or let's go to some other peaceful county where their problems don't exist, or not so much like across this country, where relationships are great and not strained, and where the people support their sheriff and support the men and women who wear the uniform. And you'll have something waiting on you that you don't want. Yes, we'll protect your constitutional rights as long as you remain under the umbrella of peaceful protest or peaceful march. But the second that you step out from up under the protection of the Constitution, we'll be waiting on you. And we'll give you everything you want. All the publicity, all the pain, all the glamour and glory for all that 5 minutes will give you. Is it a threat? Absolutely not. But somebody has to step up in front of the camera and say, enough is enough. Tearing up Clay County, that's not going to be acceptable. And if we can't handle you, you know what I'll do? I'll exercise the power and authority as the sheriff, and I'll make special deputies of every lawful gun owner in this county. And I'll deputize them for this one purpose, to stand in the gap between lawlessness and civility. That's what we're sworn to do, and that's what we're going to do. You've been warned.
In mid-July, U.S. Senate candidate John James posted this fantastic ad titled Storyteller. It's a conversation between he and his dad, and it opens with John's kids sitting with their grandfather reading a book.
My dad, the storyteller. He told me how the son of a slave became a sharecropper, the son of a sharecropper became a mason, and the son of a mason became an entrepreneur.
So you were listening. That's our family story. I drilled it into his hard head.
Yes, sir, you did. And I'm proud to teach my sons that this is the only country where you can go from slave to senator in 4 generations and from poverty to prosperity in 1.
Now don't mess up this race.
We're John James, and we approve this message.
There are literally millions of amazing stories just like these throughout America. And it's only possible in America. It would behoove Republicans to feature incredible people like this, not celebrities, during the campaign, because these are inspiring stories the average person can relate and aspire to, and classic American values to which the majority of this country still subscribes. And it's these values, I believe, President Trump has furthered during his time in the White House. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a compelling black voice we lost this week, Herman Cain, an amazing entrepreneur, patriot, and American success story. This is the Kyle Olson Show. We'll be right back.